Well, welcome to the MealPro cooking channel. If you're just tuning in to us, my name is Chef Dan Catano. I am a culinary instructor here at MealPro. So what I'm going to do today here is the New England clam chowder. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I have my heat up, and it's around about 175 on my skillet here. You could use a pot at home, and I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil. Okay, and then the first item I'm going to put in there is my bacon. I like using bacon. Okay, and this is actually Italian pancetta, okay? I'm going to put the pancetta in there and I'm going to brown that off, lightly brown that off. I'm not going to make it too dark because we're doing a white clam chowder, but I'm just going to make sure that my pancetta is cooked all the way through, right? Okay, so I'm just going to stir that up. And then I'm going to add on my celery, okay, and my onion and my garlic. I'm just going to put that right inside the skillet. Okay, I'm just going to saute that up real lightly. Okay, not a long time, maybe about a minute and a half or so, just to make the celery and the carrots and bring out some of the juices in there. Is what you're really looking to do. Okay, so at this point too, I'm going to put in my cubed potatoes. I like using the Yukon Gold, and I don't peel them. I just leave the skin. Okay, make sure that's cooked all the way through. Smells great. If you like chowder like I do, you could go and get a nice fresh sourdough bowl, bread bowl, fill it with that. Oh, there's a lot of many things you could do. You know, take a baked potato, hollow that out, and fill your potato with the chowder, and then just eat the skin of the potato after it's done. Oh, mamma mia. It's delicioso. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to start adding a little bit of flour because I want to absorb that grease from the pancetta, okay, and the olive oil. So I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit in there just to absorb the pancetta fat and some of the other fat from the olive oil. Just going to stir that up here, gather all the fats from that. You can see it's kind of like that, kind of a roux situation. It just kind of tightens it up, binds it together where that oil is not floating all over in the pan. That flour just grabs it and brings it up. Okay, so that looks good. And now I'm going to start adding my liquid. Okay, so you could go to the store and buy this large can of chopped chowder, of clams. It depends on how many you're cooking for. Or you could buy a smaller one that you do for like 3-4 people. You could buy these smaller cans, right? So I'm just going to add the juice only, okay, of this can. Okay, and let that simmer a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to start my seasoning with my herbs. Okay, here I have some fresh chopped herbs. So I'm just going to put like maybe a good, I'd say teaspoon and a half or so of my fresh chopped herbs inside there, right? Boom, right inside. Boom. Not too much. You don't want to overpower it with that. You just want to give it a real nice flavor of herbs that are going right inside of your. I have here, and I like to cut back on salt if I can, when I do my cooking. So I have, Mrs. Dash in there. I have garlic powder in here. I have onion powder in here. Some whole thyme leaf dried inside, and that's going to go right inside, like maybe 2 teaspoons right inside here. I'm just going to take half a lemon, and I'm going to squeeze that into my cup here, just in case the lemon seeds come out. So I always do it in the cup first and make sure that the juice and those seeds are inside of your chowder. So I'm just going to go a half of a lemon juice right inside my chowder. Smelling good. Oh boy, I wish you could just smell this through the camera. It just smells so wonderful. All right, so that's mixing up real well. Right. Then I'm going to add my half and half. Okay, one side. And then we're just going to let that simmer up. And then I'm going to take what we have is our Wandra flour. Okay, this Wandra flour is a real fine flour, okay? And if you wanted to go without maybe gluten-free, you just get a gluten-free flour and then replace it. But at this point, I'm just going to take and sprinkle some of this in there while it's at this stage, just to sprinkle some in there, because this is going to tighten up my chowder pretty good. So you get it to the consistency that you'd like it to be. You writing all these steps down? Hope so. But like I say, just keep looking at the video and keep writing your notes on it, and And we'll just let that simmer down. And then the last step I'm going to do is I'm going to add my heavy cream in there. So why do I add half and half and heavy cream? Well, the heavy cream at the end really gives it a real nice rich flavor, creamy flavor to your chowder. So that's the purpose why I add the whipping cream into after it gets to the thickness that I want. It thins it down, plus it gives it a real creamy look. And you're probably wondering, well, if it's a clam chowder, where's the clams? That's the secret. The secret is you don't add the clams in now. You wait until your sauce is as thick as you want it. And the last thing you put in is your clams. And the reason why is because you don't want to get them all chewy and really overcooked. And when you bite into them, it's going to be hard, like a rock, you know, hard like a rock. So that's the last thing you're going to put in your chowder. Okay, so you can get a clam base just to kick it up a little bit more to make more of a flavor of clam. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of that right inside of my chowder of the clam base, right? Okay, so now I'm going to add the half of the can of the of the clams inside, right? So there's one. So this is almost the finishing part of your clam chowder. All right, so as that simmers, what I'm going to do is, remember, I'm going to make a slurry, okay? So in the slurry, you just take some of the flour. I'm going to pour some in my cup, about maybe a good half cup. And then I'm going to take some white wine. You could use a Chardonnay. This is a Pinot Grigio. And I'm going to pour like maybe a couple tablespoons of Pinot Grigio inside of my flour. Okay, and take my spoon. I'm going to stir that flour up, because you're going to pour it in there, and that's going to thicken up our chowder as thick as we want it. Pretty good. Use a little bit more wine. Okay, I'm going to turn that down a little bit to 375. Okay, so now that's at, as you can see, it's at pouring consistency. I'll just kind of lift it up and pour it in there so you could see it, the viewers, you could see it. Same pouring consistency, right? It might be a little lumpy, but it'll dissolve inside of the chowder. Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some in my chowder. At this point, I'm going to turn it off because it's done. As soon as you thicken it the way you want it to be, it's complete. So that's done like that. And then my last step, one of our chefs had made some compound butter. You remember that, seeing that on the video, compound butter? Well, I have 3 pieces of compound butter here. I'm going to drop those in after it's out of its boiling point and fold it into my soup. So this compound butter not only could go on steaks, into sauces, but it also could go in these cream-style soups. So they have Chef Dan Cattanio's Boston Clam Chowder. And then whenever you make it at home, it'll be Mama's Clam Chowder. Come on and get it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Next time you'll see me doing a Manhattan Clam Chowder. Arrivederci.